Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you missed the whole tea. Anyways, I have interesting interviews for you, so thank you for joining us at this point. Right now, I'm about to talk to Mr. Otubanjo, the CEO of Vinci Hair Clinic, who is here to talk to us about hair loss, its causes, and preventions. Welcome to the DNSCB again.
Indeed. Nice to be here again.
Yes, it's nice to have you back, sir. Okay, so the other time we were talking about it, but we didn't have enough time to really delve into it in details.
Yeah,
so it's actually important we know, because a lot of people are struggling with hair loss, especially in this part of the country. Especially the ladies. We need our front here.
You're doing okay?
So, I'm doing okay, right? Okay, but okay, so I want to ask, what is the major cause of hair loss, especially in this part of the world?
In the world, indeed. When we look at men, it's fairly straightforward. Possibly about 70% of men have what we call the androgenetic alopecia. So that's a genetic form of hair loss.
Okay.
And there's really nothing you could do about that.
You can do it, but are you serious?
In terms of prevention, though, in terms of prevention, the key thing with that is obviously you've inherited certain genes from your father's side or your mother's side, and that makes you predisposed to hair loss. But if you pick up the signs, very early, we can actually prevent the baldness.
Yes, okay, because I want to ask this question, because the thing is, I know how they say you can break some genetic traits. Some people say if you actually get a habit and live with it and make it a lifestyle, it goes into your DNA somehow, and you can break it from entering the next generation. So I've read...
That's more sociology than medicine.
Okay, fine. Okay, so you can't break the...
No, I mean, the genetics I'm talking about are your cells in your body. You can't really change that.
You can't change that. What if you eat a lot of fish and a lot of hair growth?
Those are habits, precisely. So I would say about 70% of men in this part of the world suffer from androgenetic alopecia, and they can't prevent it. Like I said, just looking out for the early signs, which is where your hair starts becoming, soft. Like baby's hair, and you'll be thinking, oh, my hair is very soft, It's not, it's a sign of bad things to come. With regards to women, there is more, we see more of what we call the traction alopecia, that's when you lose edges. We see that a lot in the clinic, and that's principally to do with a lot of practices in hair salons. Bad practices, I should add, because, when you do your tie braiding and all the, wig, lace
with the glue.
With the glue, precisely. I'm sure you've got many friends,
I've had to express myself. I mean, you put this thing on your hair and you want to take it off and you're like, okay, what's happening now? Do you understand?
Precisely.
And you pull it out and you literally see your hair follow.
Absolutely. That's it, so that causes traction alopecia. And we see the vast majority of women we see in the clinic tend to suffer from that. Now, there are preventative actions you can take, doing sensible things when you go to the salon. For instance.
But we want to slay now. How can we?
I know, but you don't want to be suffering from it 6 months down the line.
But I think the problem a lot of people have is the fact that they think, okay, even if they lose their hair, they can use wigs to cover it.
Well, funny enough.
And it's sad.
Constant wig wearing can cause further aggravate your hair loss.
True.
That's the thing. So it's better for you to either take preventative action, making sure that whatever is applied on your scalp, it's approved by NAFDAC or FDA, and making sure that they follow instructions, and just doing sensible things when you go to the salon. You want to come out looking like slay, as you call it, but,
Yeah, you still have to be reasonable with what you actually do. Like me, just pull your hair back in a ponytail.
Absolutely. And you've got very nice hair, by the way.
Thank you. It's weird how we're talking about hair and I have my hair anyways. Okay, so now we're talking about how to prevent it. Okay, so how can, apart from, there's no prevention. For most, there's no prevention. So how can we now treat it? At the point we get to where, fine, we've realized we don't have a choice now. We just have to treat it.
Generally, hair loss is preventable and it's treatable. There are several treatment options. Very much depends on the stage of the hair loss. So usually when people are still going through what we call the thinning process, there's some medication, there's some therapies, there's some injection, corticosteroids, so many different things that we could deploy. But once you go bald, once the hair goes,
you can't go back.
You would have to have a transplant.
There's
no other way.
Is that something you actually do?
Yeah, we do that. We do.
Hair transplant.
Yep, we've been doing the surgery.
It sounds interesting.
Yes.
Tell me more about it.
We've been doing the surgery in Nigeria for the last 5 years. It's not a new thing.
Is it permanent?
It's permanent, absolutely, absolutely. So you're effectively donating what we call the follicles, which are the roots of your hair. You're donating it to yourself. Because what we do is we take a strip of skin tissue, usually from the back of the scalp. Very minor surgery, nothing complicated.
Wow.
Stitch it back up. And then the skin that we've taken out, we then extract live follicles from them.
Oh, wow.
And we can prepare as many as 3,000 of those follicles or grafts, which are then implanted in the areas of the scalp.
Of the scalp where,
It all works on the basis that our scalp is elastic, up to a point. Some people are more elastic than others.
Okay.
So the more elastic your scalp is, the more skin we can take, and the more follicles we could implant.
Okay.
So,
But that means you're going to have like a bruise.
no, a bruise. No.
When you cut it back, what happens?
A bruise is something you get by banging into a tree.
Okay, you have me.
There'll be a thin scar that will run diagonal, very thin, that will run diagonally at the back of your scalp.
Okay, not noticeable. After
Absolutely,
it
because hair is going to cover it once it starts growing anyway, so nobody would ever know.
Oh, wow.
You know, you've done that.
So this particular hair must be taken from the head,
It
from
must
the
be,
scalp.
yes.
Scalp. You can take it from,
Ideally.
because I have like my really hairy. You can't take it from somewhere else.
Well, back in 30 years ago, they used to experiment with other parts of the hair. Okay. But things have moved on now, so we don't need to go down there. Sorry, excuse the pun. So we can actually take the donor follicles from the scalp using that technique. There's another technique which is less invasive. You know, we call it FUE, follicular unit extraction. But it's more appropriate and ideal for Caucasian white people's hair because of the structure of their hair. Okay. That is more preferable for a lot of people, but not for African hair.
Not for African hair. Why? Is there a particular reason?
It's only because, I mean, the way we, the FU is also called a pluck and plug.
Oh, pluck.
You pluck out, and then you plug.
it in.
Where, Now, because Caucasian hair is straight, it's a lot easier to get it in.
Yes.
When you've got Caucasian hair which bends at the end, you have to kind of maneuver the follicles in place. So in the process of doing that, the follicles suffer what we call trauma, and a lot of them are not viable.
Okay.
So a lot of Nigerians have gone to India or Turkey and now FUE instead of the FUT. They've come back disappointed.
Okay. Is there any any bad effect, side effect to this transplant?
No, none.
Not at all.
Absolutely none.
Oh wow.
Absolutely none. As long as you're a good candidate for a transplant surgery, none.
What's dependent on how you're a good candidate or not?
Well, I mean, there's some medical history that we'll need to ask you. Do you suffer from high blood pressure? You're taking your medication regularly.
Okay.
There's some people that anemic. So there are many different things that we take into account, but most people are candidates.
For it. Okay, so how is there a special way you treat this hair after it's been transplanted, or it's just like normal practices?
Normal practice, as long as you don't go back to those bad practices.
Okay, but it's going to pull up again.
Precisely, you spent a lot of money getting it back. You don't want to go back to to the bad practices.
Okay, I want to ask you this question: why did you do? This is an area that a lot of people don't go into. Why did you decide to actually do this particular thing? Was it based on personal experiences or what?
Yes, I mean, as you can tell, I am bald. I have the genetic form of hair loss, inherited from my father's side. Okay. But rather than having transplant surgery, I've always had this, shaved look.
Yes.
So I did a procedure we call the scalp pigmentation. So you pigment the scalp in a way that makes you look as if you're
just
bald.
intentionally
Thank you.
Bald.
So this is all camouflage.
Okay, that's actually really great. I think it's amazing because it's something a lot of people don't take seriously. They just think, okay, fine. A lot of people notice, okay, fine, my hair is balding now. They just take it all out and all that. But the women, however, we actually need this because a lot of people want their hair to grow. They're taking extra care of their hair and trying to make it grow. So I think it's really a good one.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is there what is your social media handle?
It's Vinci, that's VINCI.
Yeah.
Hair Clinic Nigeria.
Okay, Vinci Hair Clinic Nigeria. On Instagram?
On Instagram,
And any other platform?
We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Okay.
And or you could reach us on our normal WhatsApp line.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on the show. It
you.
was
Thank
a
you very
pleasure
much for
talking
inviting
to
me.
you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure indeed. Thank you.
Okay, so you've heard it, how to prevent your hair from falling off, and even if it falls off, how to treat it. Thank you so much, sir. We'll be going on a quick break right now. Make sure you join the conversation on social media at Silverbird TV with the hashtag TODayNSTV. We'll be right back.